Good afternoon. Winston Churchill once said, "People will occasionally stumble across the truth. People will pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and carry on as if nothing ever happened." Well, there is a truth that is at the heart of this experience we're having with COVID, an experience that none of us are exempt from, and an experience that it's not so easy just to quickly pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move on, because COVID is a situation that is continuing and will continue long after we're even freed up from the restrictions that we are living in now. One of the truths that is quite evident that we can't deny that we're experiencing in this COVID is that what we do, the choices that we're making, has an impact on many, many others. It brings to mind something that St. Paul wrote in his letter to the Corinthians. If one member of the body suffers, all suffer. If one member rejoices, all rejoice. I think that truth is very much part of our faith experience, and will become increasingly so over time. It is a part of this COVID experience that I think we are relearning, and not just in our heads as some kind of an exercise, but as a reality in the very actions that we take when we leave our houses and lock our doors, if in fact we decide to leave our house. Another truth that has kind of hit us in the face during COVID is this sense that we need to care for one another. In as much as we're interconnected, we need to care for one another. We need to set aside rivalries. We need to live in some kind of humility where we're not just looking after our own interests, but we are also looking after the interest of others. This kind of living in a mutuality is really important, and I hope that it is something that becomes ingrained far and beyond after we are able to come out of our isolation and our seclusion. I think another truth that needs to be highlighted is that we are actually out of control. It's been a year now that we have been in this pandemic situation, and it doesn't look like anything is soon going to lift. Who would have thought it would have, in this country of Canada, taken so long for a disease to be rid of, and we're not. We seem to be, our leaders seem to be arguing about what is right and what is wrong, and what we should do and what we shouldn't do, which creates another issue, which is one of trust. Who do we trust? There seems to be a lot of questioning that happens. And I think that we are really being forced to place our trust. Either that, or we're just going to go crazy with wild thoughts. I mean, Ford may be doing some things that we don't like, but at the same time, Ford is our elected leader, and we do need to trust that what's happening to us is the best thing that could be happening to us given the circumstances. I think those who criticize our leaders at this point in time need to step back and ask themselves, what are the ramifications of that kind of criticism having? What does it have on for you and I? What does it mean when we hear one leader criticizing another for what they're doing? It's not helping, and it reminds me of another a letter to the Ephesians where it says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up as fits occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear it. And I think that that's a truth that is connected here, and that is our need to be aware of what we say and how we say it and what impact that would have on others. And is that a good impact? The last truth that I want to highlight is I think the most important one, and it affects us at every level. It certainly affects me as I pastor in a parish, and it also affects me as I parent my children and my grandchild. And that is the most important thing is relationship. Holding the intimate bonds between one another more important than anything else. Now, in the church, that has quite significant ramifications. That truth needs to be taken into our liturgies, our outreach. It needs to become part of how we relate to one another, whether it be at coffee hour or council meetings. And I also think it's important in terms of parenting to realize that our children and the way that we connect to them and stay connected to them has deep roots in how they feel about themselves. We can't ever discount the validity of being present to people, to actually seeing them, to be with them. That's a truth that I think most parents really have known all along, but I think COVID has highlighted it quite significantly. I believe that one of the arts of living is to develop resiliency. And one of the ways of developing resiliency, which means the way that we manage our life in a positive way, the way that we develop resiliency is to face the truth head on, to bring it in and to use it to create for ourselves and for those around us something new, perhaps something better than what was. I really believe COVID is going to have a lot of impact on our families, our communities, our churches. And I really want to share with you my hope that we are able to move into the future with a sense that we have effectively managed this very unique time in history, where certain realities are knocking at the door and need to be answered in a way that enables life to move forward for all of those that we love and care for. Thank you for joining with me this afternoon, and I hope that you have a great week.